Welcome back to Chicago Independent Television. I'm Phil Mancharo here in Federal Plaza in Chicago. Now let's find out what Chicago's Mayor Richard Daley thinks about the war.
Chicago Mayor Richard M. Daley, autocratic juggernaut of the city of Chicago, elected to 7 mayoral terms since 1989, and longtime opponent of anti-war political activists, spoke at the 16th Annual Chicago Neighborhood Development Awards on February 9, 2010, and made some stunning remarks. This is a low-fidelity recording of a portion of his remarks.
Why do we always have to go to war continually? Why can't we rebuild America? Why is it we have to take $400 billion and tell people we're only going to be there for a year and we're coming home and we declare victory? What is it? What is it about America? How did we start this century of 10 years of war? 10 years of war, we started it, and we'll continue to move forward. Where are the anti-war people? I look down at the church in the center. Where are they? Where are they? They disappeared. What happened? I thought war was evil. Where are the people believing in the heart against George Bush? We have to organize or walk down Michigan Avenue and Clark Street.
One suggestion that's been posed is that the remarks came around the time Daley's son, Patrick Daley, who served in Afghanistan in the U.S. Army, was being redeployed. And activists would certainly agree that there are too few protests for peace and too few participants in those protests. But the mayor's recent anti-war words grossly misrepresent his long record against anti-war activists. Since the 2003 war in Iraq, Mayor Daley fought repeatedly against grassroots Chicago peace activists, delaying and denying permits, arresting and intimidating activists, sometimes forcibly canceling protests altogether. On March 20, 2003, one night after the launch of Operation Iraqi Freedom, some 18,000 people marched against the war on Chicago's Lakeshore Drive in one of the legendary protests in Chicago history. Instead of joining in the peace protests, or encouraging people to protest, or ordering the schools and city operations closed so that students and city employees could protest, Daley instead sent massive numbers of violent police to forcibly disrupt the protest at Michigan and Oak before the protest could finish its planned route down Michigan Avenue. Police arrested and detained about 860 people, some for as long as 2 days in lockup, in the largest mass arrest in Chicago history, and more people arrested in that night than in a week at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. In 2004 and 2005, activists assembled by the thousands again at Michigan and Oak to finish the protest down Michigan Avenue, but Daley again refused to budge. In 2004, anti-war activists were forcibly rerouted down low-profile Clark Street. In 2005, the protest march was blocked entirely, and 8 people were arrested at a downtown press conference held by anti-war organizers. In 2006, peace activists finally did protest down Michigan Avenue, but only after activists cleverly applied not for a march permit, but a parade permit, and scheduled an anti-war parade down Michigan Avenue. The tactic worked, but Daley responded by deploying a battalion of violence-prone riot police to line every square inch of the protest. In 2009, high-ranking attorneys on behalf of Daley worked feverishly to block in court that year's protest permit, which wasn't even scheduled for downtown, but rather in the Pilsen neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. Resources and time that activists could have used for outreach and organizing were instead tied up in court just trying to win the right to protest. The right was won in the end, but as one attorney for the activists stated, quote, "The reason we prevailed was because the city violated a technicality of its own permit ordinance. There was no political will to issue a permit, and there still is no political will to issue a permit," unquote. But a year later, in 2010, we now see what could be construed as a little bit of political will. Activists asked for a permit to march on Michigan Avenue, and they quickly received it, freeing up months of time for organizing and outreach. But that, and a few anti-war words, don't measure up to a long and sordid history of suppressing anti-war voices. Richard M. Daley has a great deal to answer for.
I'm Alejandro Molina, and you're watching Chicago Independent Television.
I see the soul of a nation, must be true 'cause I've seen it on TV.
Chicago Independent Television is not brought to you by Walmart. There's a reason we're the world's most profitable corporation. We pay our employees peanuts. Learn more at walmartwatch.com. Walmart. Always low wages, always.
Does Comcast hate God? Let's find out.
Well, Comcast blocked internet traffic, which allowed internet users to upload and download online copies of the Bible. So yes.
There you have it. Clear evidence that Comcast hates God. Help protect God. Visit these websites to learn more and get involved. Comcast, it's blocktastic.